All right. Hello, and welcome everyone to today's Marketing Science webinar, which is going to be all about email marketing and specifically what we've learned over the years from sending in excess of 250 million emails. A big thank you to everyone who's joining us live today, also to anyone who's watching this back on demand. My name is Danny. I run our webinar program at Azo Network, and I'm delighted to be hosting and moderating today's webinar for you. Now, as always, everything is being recorded, and we'll be sending the link out during the next 24 hours. So please do share that internally with anyone who might also be interested in the content when you get that. You can share your thoughts in the chat, ask any questions that you have about email marketing, and then after the event is finished, let us know what you think of the webinar in the end of the event survey. The room might look slightly different from normal. So to the left of your screen, you should also find some additional resources so you can download those at any time during the webinar. And if you scroll to the very bottom, you should find some emoji reactions. So if anyone says anything interesting or enlightening, then you can click on one of those at any time during the event today. Before we get started, I quickly wanted to share where the Azo team are going to be over the next few weeks. So next week, we'll be exhibiting at /EU in Brussels, and then back in the UK at the end of June for the Advanced Materials Show. So if you or your colleagues are due to attend either of those events, then please do stop by our booth and say hi, or let us know in the chat if you're going to be there. So today we are going to be focusing solely on email marketing, and we're going to be hearing the thoughts of Torsten Christian in just a moment. Torsten has been with Azo for more than a decade, and in that time he's been instrumental in building the email and newsletter platform that allows us to run so many successful email campaigns for our global network of clients. So the webinar is going to run as 3 parts. First, in just a moment, we're going to have a 10-minute presentation from Torsten. Then I'll host a very short interview with him before we open the floor up to the audience Q&A. So if at any time during the session today you have any questions, then just throw them in the chat box, which you should find on the right-hand side of your screen. And we'll try to answer as many as we can during the event today. The chat is open throughout, so as many of you have already done, please do say hi. Let us know where you're joining us from and share any other thoughts that you have during the event today. There's lots and lots of great stuff in this, and I'm sure everyone is going to leave today thinking about at least one area of their email marketing. So let's get things going.
Brilliant. Thank you, Danny. So over the past decade, I've had the opportunity to gain more than 10 years of experience in email marketing. And during this time, I've been part of a team at Azo Network that's been building a comprehensive email marketing platform. This experience has provided me with unique insights into the challenges and opportunities of email marketing within the scientific, engineering, and manufacturing sectors. Email marketing, why do we bother? Why do we do it? Email marketing offers some unique benefits that other marketing channels don't. It allows you to directly reach and engage with your target audience without interference from the likes of Google. It allows you to nurture leads and generate a high return on investment. In the STEM sectors, it's particularly valuable for establishing your company as an industry thought leader, showcasing your technical expertise, and building strong, direct relationships with your clients and partners. By implementing the strategies we discussed today, you'll be well on your way to developing effective email marketing campaigns for your own organization. So, the foundation of any successful email marketing campaign, is a strong email list. So let's talk about how you can build and maintain a high quality list for your campaigns. First, it's important to ensure that you're using opt-in strategies to build your list. This means that subscribers willingly provide their email addresses and give you permission to send them marketing emails. Implementing double opt-in, where subscribers confirm their email address through a confirmation email, is a great way to maintain a clean list and comply with data protection regulations. It's not about tricking people to sign up to your emails or getting as many people on your list in any way possible. It's about demonstrating the value you can provide to users and delivering on that to people who want to engage with you and your content. So, how do you do that? Start thinking about your lead magnets. A lead magnet is an incentive you offer in exchange for a person's contact information. In the scientific, engineering, and manufacturing industries, lead magnets can include technical white papers, exclusive webinars, or industry reports that provide valuable information to your target audience. Finally, it's crucial to manage and maintain your email list over time. Regularly clean your list by removing unengaged subscribers and updating contact information. This ensures that your emails are reaching the right people, reducing bounce rates, and improving your overall email deliverability, meaning your emails are less likely to get caught in spam filters. So now that we've got a strong foundation, let's move on to discuss crafting compelling content for your email campaigns. So, how can you provide value for your subscribers to keep them engaged over time? How do you nurture these leads into a purchasing position? Looking back at your lead magnets is a great start. You can use this same content for the emails you send out. It's important to identify several types of content, though, so that you can diversify what you provide in your emails. This is going to ensure that your subscribers receive a diverse range of information, and that will keep them engaged and interested in your company. We have done some analysis on our own emails. Here you can see the impact including certain words or phrases in the subject line has on open rates. You can see that broader content, so downloads, ebooks, posters, they all work really well for us. Product-related emails do less well, and that's simply just because most subscribers aren't going to be in a stage where they're ready to buy a product. And that isn't to say that you shouldn't be sending product emails. You just need to know when and who to send those emails to. And we'll come on to that in a little bit. So moving on to subject lines and preview text. Your subject line is the first impression subscribers will have of your email, and it plays a significant role in whether they decide to open it. In the STEM sectors, it's important to use industry-specific language and terminology that your audience will understand, but you want to keep your subject lines concise and focused, and you can use the preview text as well to provide additional context or a brief summary of the content within the email. When creating the body of your email, remember to balance technical information with engaging content. Whilst it's important to showcase your company's expertise, you also should make the content easily digestible and appealing to a wide range of readers. You can use visuals such as infographics or images to break up text and enhance the overall user experience. It's important to remember, though, that your subscribers are busy people. And by using digestible language, you're making it easier for them to read and engage with. So it's the job of the email to hook people in. And once they've clicked or engaged with the email in some way, at that point, you can start to highlight the more technical aspects of the content on your own website. So moving on to personalization and segmentation. How can you make sure that the right people are receiving your emails at the right time? Personalization and segmentation are two powerful strategies that can significantly improve the effectiveness of your email campaigns. Personalization involves tailoring your emails to each individual recipient based on their preferences, behaviors, or other data points. So this can be as simple as addressing the recipient by their name, or it can be as advanced as providing content recommendations based on their browsing history. Segmentation, on the other hand, is the process of dividing your overall email list into smaller, more targeted groups, based on various specific criteria. In the scientific, engineering, and manufacturing industries, you can segment your audience based on factors such as job role, industry, company size, or even the stage of the buying process that your subscribers are at. By segmenting your list, you can send highly relevant content to each group, improving the overall effectiveness of your campaign. On the right here, you can see we have an example of some personalization and segmentation criteria we used for a recent green energy email we sent out. So moving on to staying organized and how you can make sure that you're sending emails at the right time and making it work with your overall marketing strategy. As you create and implement your email marketing campaigns, staying organized is essential for ensuring that consistent and timely communication with your subscribers. So one of the best ways to achieve this is by using a calendar. This allows you to schedule your email campaigns in advance, keep track of important dates, content themes, and marketing objectives. By having a clear overview of your campaigns, you can easily coordinate your email marketing efforts with other marketing channels and initiatives. Here you can see our newsletter calendar that we use, and this helps us stay organized, manage our time, and ultimately execute more effective email marketing campaigns. Then moving on to how you measure the success of your email marketing efforts. So to maximize your email marketing potential, it's vital to measure the campaign success and continually optimize the emails that you send out. Analyzing key performance indicators helps identify areas for enhancement and helps you make data-driven decisions. Here we'll look at 3 essential KPIs for Azo Network and our emails. So on the right at the top there, we've got clicks per newsletter edition. This measures the total number of clicks within a specific email or newsletter edition, and this provides us insight into the overall engagement and effectiveness of that email. Then in the middle, we've got total subscribers. This obviously represents the overall email list size, allowing us to gauge the growth of the email list, the health of it, and also track the list building success. So making sure that our list building activities are successful. Then at the bottom, we've got the open rate. So this measures the percentage of recipients who open the email, indicating the effectiveness of subject lines and preview text. Additional KPIs would include click-through rate, bounce rate, and conversion rate. And these are all crucial for measuring campaign effectiveness. After you've analyzed your KPIs, you can use those insights to optimize your campaigns. You can use A/B testing to compare different email elements, such as subject lines, calls to action, buttons. And by testing these components, it allows you to refine your campaigns for better performance and ROI. And again, you can do data-driven analysis to find trends across your emails over time. So as before here, we've got how the impact of including certain words in our emails affects the open rate. So measuring success and optimizing your email campaigns are critical for effectiveness and delivering tangible results within your email marketing strategy. So in conclusion, effective email marketing involves building a strong email list. Use opt-in strategies and lead magnets to attract engaged subscribers. Craft compelling content. Make sure to balance technical information with engaging content and use strong subject lines. Personalization and segmentation. Tailor content to individual recipients and divide your list into targeted groups. Staying organized. Schedule your campaigns in advance and ensure consistent communication. And then measuring success and optimizing your campaigns. Analyze your KPIs such as clicks per email, total subscribers, and open rate to refine and improve your email marketing efforts. By applying these strategies, you'll enhance your email marketing campaigns, establish yourselves as thought leaders, engage your audience, and drive tangible results. Thank you. Back to you, Danny.
All right, thanks, Torsten. So we're now going to move into the second part of the webinar, which is going to be a very brief interview where I've got some questions that I want to ask Torsten about that, and then we'll move into audience Q&A. So any questions that you have, just throw them in the chat and we'll get to those in just a moment. Before we do start this section, though, just wanted to draw everyone's attention to the resources on your left-hand side of your screen. So a lot of the data that Torsten was showing there is taken from a sort of a more extensive handbook, ebook, that he created not so long ago. So do download that and you'll find some really interesting stuff in there to help you with your email marketing. TC, thanks for that. First question is, I wanted to pick up on what you said at the very beginning, which was about interference from the likes of Google and things like that. Is that the biggest sort of benefit of email marketing? The fact that you own your list and you have control over control?
Yeah, well, it's certainly a significant benefit. It provides a direct line with your audience that algorithm changes on Google or other social media sites can't impact. Whether it's the biggest benefit, I'm not sure. For me, I think the biggest advantage of email marketing in general is the ability to build upon existing relationships that you have with your customers and nurture them over time.
Yeah, and so I guess you were saying in there the big part of that is to keep your list clean and to constantly be monitoring it. In a sort of a practical world, if you've got a list of sort of several thousand, tens of thousands, how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, so the process involves removing inactive subscribers, correcting invalid email addresses or removing them completely, and then also segmenting it into different lists based on engagement levels or other parameters. A lot of email marketing platforms include the ability to automatically clean the lists. But there are other tools available as well that a quick Google will be able to help you find. So off the top of my head, I know there's Zero Bounce, Clear Out, and Never Bounce. They're three tools you can use to help clean your lists.
What are the main benefits of having a clean list?
So it's going to help ensure that you're delivering high engagement and improving your deliverability rates. So if you've got a list full of email addresses that are no longer used and they bounce often, then that's going to impact your spam score, and emails are going to end up getting caught by more spam filters.
Perfect. One thing that I'm sure everyone is very aware of and that people are constantly concerned about or focused on is compliance. So how can the marketers on this call, how do we ensure that compliance when running email marketing campaigns?
Yeah, so regulations like GDPR or the CAN-SPAM Act, we could have a whole webinar on those topics alone, but essentially ensuring that you're complying with those involves obtaining clear consent when you add people to your subscriber list, providing clear and easy ways for subscribers to unsubscribe. And then another good one is to use your physical address at the bottom of your emails. And then just ultimately make sure you're sending relevant, high quality content to your subscribers.
And then there's a couple of points in the chat already, but I wanted to ask about the subject lines. So we obviously in our marketing team send out a lot of emails as well. We're constantly testing new subject lines. Is there any sort of best practice? Is there an optimal number of words, characters that you'd recommend?
Yeah, so there's no definitive rule or anything like that. It's going to vary depending on your audience and the content of the email. But a rule of thumb that we try to stick to is between 50 and 60 characters. We found that after that, various email clients are going to start cutting off the subject lines. So if you can get the main core of your subject into 50 to 60 characters, you should be in a good place.
Cool. And then let's talk about those email clients. So you've got your Outlooks, your Gmails, etc., that most people are using. When you're using an email marketing tool, or if you're writing the HTML yourself, what do you need to take into consideration in terms of the design and to ensure that it's optimized for all those different platforms?
Yes. So one of the most important factors when building emails is to make sure that it's responsive, to make sure that you can view it on mobile devices, on tablets and things like that, as well as on desktop. To help with that, you can make sure that you're using relatively simple layouts, web-safe fonts, and alt text for images. Then when you go to test your emails on Outlook and various other email clients, Gmail, things like that, that's going to really help make sure that everything looks consistent across all those different clients.
Yeah. And iPad's always a good one as well, isn't it? Because I think people often forget about checking optimization for tablets, but they'll check phones, they'll check Gmail, they'll check Outlook, and then it will look completely different on a tablet. So worth running all those tests. Are there any sort of trends that you've seen about the sort of maximum minimum length of email that you would recommend? Is it so? I see, especially with newsletters, you see a lot more very long, in-depth newsletters now. Is that something that's becoming more of a trend, or would you recommend keeping emails, newsletters to a sort of shorter length?
Yeah. So again, it's going to vary quite a bit depending on the content that you're sending out. A rule that I generally try to stick to is that an email should be no longer than it needs to be. So you're still providing that value, and you're still getting the reader to engage with it, but you should still be respecting your audience's time and attention. So deliver that value, but still try to keep it quite concise. But that isn't to say, as you say, some subscribers and some audiences do prefer kind of a longer form piece of content in their email. So it will vary, and so in a lot of cases, I'd recommend doing some A/B testing on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just on sort of email newsletter, what works better is, I imagine most people on the call have a monthly newsletter, maybe more frequent. They're probably sponsoring certain other newsletters as well. When is a standalone email sort of a better solution than running your including whatever content you were going to put in that email into a newsletter?
Yeah. So standalone emails are great for announcements, important announcements and things like that, special promotions, or just when you want to highlight a specific topic. If those things go in a newsletter, you might find that the other content is distracting from those things that you want to draw attention to. So having a single standalone email might be a better solution in some of those cases. Also thinking about if a piece of content is relevant just to a certain segment of your subscriber list, in that case as well, it might be a good idea to go with a single standalone email.
Perfect. The next question I've got is mainly thinking about when people are sending out invites to events or webinars or things like that. If you're going to do sort of 3-4 sends for the same campaign to a similar audience, what can people do to sort of avoid email fatigue or to reduce the amount of unsubscribes between those different sends?
Yeah. So when sending out an email campaign with, as you say, 3 or 4 emails, it's important to kind of split the topic up into various different segments. So you're making sure that you've always got relevant, high quality information to send out for each of those sends. So at the very minimum, you could just be changing the subject line from send to send. Although ideally you'd be swapping out content from one send to another to try and keep that engagement as high as it can be.
Yeah, I know for webinars, we try to sort of split the 3 sends. So one's about the whole event, one's more focused on the speaker, particularly if they're a high profile key opinion leader that lots of the industry will know. And then the third one more about what the audience will get. So we sort of try to differentiate the 3 to make them different, basically, and to increase more signups. So how do we, as a company, if one of the people listening here, they want to run a customized email campaign with us, how do we segment our database of 1 million subscribers so that we can help them find the people they want to target?
So at Azo Network, when someone signs up to our emails, we make sure that we're capturing a number of key details about that person. So that will include information about their interests, their job role, the organization they work for, and in some cases even the stage of the buying process that they're currently at. Then once we've got all that information, that allows us to filter subscriber list basically as and when we need to. And then that allows us to send highly targeted emails to very specific segments of our subscriber list in an effort to make sure that we're only sending content to subscribers that are likely to engage with the content we're sending them, whether that's our own content that we've produced ourselves or whether we're sending content to our subscribers on the behalf of our clients.
Perfect. Just one more question for me, Torsten, before we tackle some audience questions. Just before I do get to that, though, I saw a couple of notes about the recording. So yeah, the recording will be available to everyone who's registered. We'll be sending that out either later on today or first thing in the morning UK time. So within the next 24 hours, everyone will have that link. Do share it with your teams if you found this content useful. We'll also be doing a blog write-up in the coming weeks as well with some of the sort of key takeaways from Torsten's presentation today. So yeah, final question for me, Torsten. Have you got any, and there's a couple of questions about this as well, have you got any, without naming any sort of specific clients, have you got any examples of recent success stories with email newsletter campaigns?
Yeah. So one that comes to mind is that we recently worked with a client to help them promote their products. It was quite a small campaign to begin with anyway. And we were basically just putting kind of product sponsors in our newsletters. And because we were just showcasing products, unfortunately, we didn't see much success. So we went back to the client and said, let's have a look at some other content we could feature in the newsletters. So we worked with them, and we were able to produce some kind of thought leader pieces of content, such as I think an ebook and a couple of interviews. And then using those in our newsletters, we were able to generate a much higher response, and we saw, a substantial surge in the leads that we were able to generate for them. So yeah, that really kind of demonstrated the power of combining high quality content with targeted email marketing.
Perfect. There's loads of questions, TC, so let's try and get through as many as we can. This one's asking, I think, referring to if you're doing multiple sends to the same target audience, what should the frequency of emails in general be? Should it be once per week? Let's say a webinar's in 4 weeks. Should we be doing one a week, or should we be doing it less frequently than that? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I think, well, the way we do it is, you space them out as much as you can. You don't want to be doing them all, one day after another. You want to make sure that you're spacing them out where possible. In regards to more kind of generally, how often should you be emailing your subscribers? Again, it's going to be one of those things that varies, and you're going to want to be able to test it. You might find that certain segments of your audience are okay being emailed more frequently, whereas maybe new subscribers, they're going to be not wanting to receive quite as many emails from you.
What do you think? I'm just thinking again about webinars here. What do you think about inviting people the day before, 2 days before, the day of even? Is that effective, or is that too late, do you think?
I think I think it's a good idea if people have like an awareness of a webinar, for example, but they've just not committed to that action of actually signing up yet. So I think a day before is a good kind of last chance reminder to make them commit to the action. So yeah, I mean, you might find if it's the first time they've seen it, then they're probably not going to sign up. But if it's been something that's on their mind, it's a good way to remind them to sign up.
Yeah, perfect. A couple more sort of questions about best practices and things like that. So Nancy's asking, what is the best day of the week, time of day for emails?
For us, I can tell you what we found for Azo Network. Again, it might vary depending on your own company, but for us, we generally try to avoid Mondays and Fridays. Mondays, obviously, first thing in from the weekend, everyone's inbox is getting overloaded with various tasks that need to be completed throughout the week. So we try to avoid that kind of that rush, that first Monday morning rush. So we find between Tuesday and Thursday they perform a bit better for us. Friday, again, people kind of switch off a bit early for the weekend. Friday afternoon, any emails that come in at that point, we find that the people aren't quite engaging as much. So yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is when we aim for. The other thing on that though is at Azo Network, we make sure that we only send emails between the recipients 8 o'clock in the morning and 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So that's local to our subscribers. So we don't send emails outside of those times to ensure that, or to try and make sure that the subscribers only get our emails when they're at their desks.
Perfect. I'm going to just show a quick poll, which should be appearing on the screen or just popping out on the screen now. So it's basically asking if you are interested in talking to our team about our email solutions. Just click yes on that. We'll get someone to follow up in the next couple of days, and we can talk about how we can potentially help with that. This next one, Torsten, they're asking about, they're having trouble distinguishing clicks by spam bots, and they're basically detecting or distinguishing the difference between spam bots and real clicks, which is messing up their statistics. Can you recommend any strategy to get better data? I think we have a built-in system that prevents that, if I'm not mistaken, something Ben's built. Who knows? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not sure. We personally, well, for Azo Network, we don't see a lot of clicks from bots. So yeah, I mean, it probably would depend on which email platform you're using, but I would have thought that if it's, you know, relatively sophisticated, it should have something to combat that. So yeah, I'd have to have a look into that, I think.
Yeah, so we'll probably get back to you, Stephen, with some more insights on that. I guess one thing they could potentially do is if they had sort of 20 email for reference, calculate how many bot clicks they've had over those 20, have a percentage, and then just minus that percentage off there. If they're looking just for benchmark stats.
As well, it might be, you might see that after you've cleaned the list, you might see a reduced rate of bot clicks and things like that to, you know, make sure that people are, well, that they're actually people that you're sending your emails to. That might help with that.
Yeah, so the next one's asking about the top 5 online email tools. Ours is self-built and built in-house, but previous to that, did you use any of the other ones sort of?
So with a lot of our clients use WordPress, and so I know there are quite a few different WordPress plugins you can use to manage your email lists and send emails. There's also MailChimp, which is one of the more popular ones. HubSpot as well, of course, has its own email platform. And then there's the other one I can think of is MailerLite, although I've not actually used that one myself.
Yeah, MailChimp's what I've used previously, which is why I asked the question about the different Gmails, Outlooks, etc. Because we'd send things from MailChimp and it would look completely different on different ones. So the first time we used it, we all had a massive panic and then worked out what was going wrong. So that's why we referenced that question. It's worth doing lots and lots of testing when you're sending out your emails. Another question about guidelines for email subject lines. I know you gave some thoughts on sort of lengths, and within the presentation, within the ebook, there's some data that we've researched we've done about the different words to use. I think it's an introduction to was always the most successful, and then usually purchase words like buy now and things like that tended to be much lower. Any other thoughts on subject lines, Torsten?
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of plays into making sure that you're sending your emails to the right people at the right time. So the majority of your list, I would guess, is going to be, you know, they're not going to be at the stage where they're ready to buy something. So that's why you're always going to find that more kind of introductory content is going to perform better. You're going to see more clicks on that, whereas emails and content that says buy this product are not going to do as well. But obviously there's a more direct correlation to the value of those clicks than the introductory content ones. So making sure that you're only sending product emails to people who are in a stage where they're more likely to buy, that's going to help keep your subscribers engaged. If you're sending content where you're asking people to buy a product and they're only in that kind of introductory stage, you might be at risking kind of disengaging with those subscribers. So yeah, finding those pieces of content that appeal to a large audience, and then being able to filter your subscribers as they progress along that path to purchasing something.
Yeah, so you sort of using your data insights to have a good understanding of your audience and making sure that you're sending the right stuff to the right people. We've got a few more questions. Just before we move on to those, in the handout section, there is a content calendar. And I just want to quickly show everyone how it works. If I can share my screen quickly. There we go. So yeah, so there's four handouts. The bottom one is the content calendar. So this is a live calendar which uses a traffic light system to show what we've got coming up in terms of our newsletters. So you can tap in search anything into here, and it will come up. So if I chose men's health, for example, you'd be able to see when the next editions of that. This one's green, which means the headline sponsor is available. Amber means there's a feature available, and red is fully booked, obviously. So if you are interested in sponsoring any newsletters, or at least exploring what it is that we have available, there's over 100. Is it 100 and what is it now, TC?
Yeah, 110, almost 115, around that kind of area.
So there's lots of sponsorship opportunities with really good targeted audiences. So do explore that, and that's how that page works. So you can check that out in your own time and download that from the handouts. Let's try get through a few more if we can. This is an interesting one from Thomas. He's saying his email list is small, sort of less than 1,000. Should he be doing anything differently because of the small size of his list?
No, I don't think so. I think all the strategies still apply. I mean, I would ask, maybe, is it small because that's just the size of the industry or the market that you're in, or is it small because your sign up, your opt-in strategies could be more impactful? But yeah, in terms of the strategies, I'd say that they're the same. In some ways, it's gonna be easier to kind of split up your lists into various groups. Might be fewer groups overall, but it should be, generally the same strategies.
Yeah, in many ways, it might be even easy because you can, obviously, we want to try and personalize emails as much as possible, so the reader feels like it's being directly sent to them, even if it is being sent to thousands. But you can, if you've got a list of 1,000, then you can really get to know them on maybe a bit of a deep level. Maybe, Thomas, if you could comment, is it a small list because it's a small industry, or are you just getting started? Maybe share something in the chat and we can maybe pick that up afterwards. I don't know how much you know about Pardo and Salesforce, Torsten. Pam's asking, or saying they use Pardo. Is it Pardo or Pardot? I never know. The Salesforce integration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, unfortunately, I don't know much about that.
No, I'd imagine one of our colleagues, Frankie, will know more. He's our Salesforce person. So we'll pass that question on to him, Pam, and see if he's got any thoughts on that. Let's have a look. Okay, so this one from Jeffrey saying they've heard from other industrial publishers who are saying the best open rates are Saturdays, and then very late afternoons when recipients are winding down from their days, or people catching up on a Saturday. Any thoughts? I know you said Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays when we tend to send out most things. Any thoughts on that?
We have found that Saturdays don't work as well for us. But as I say, it's going to depend on your company, your subscribers. I'm always a bit hesitant to kind of look at industry standards because they do vary so much between company to company and audience to audience. So it's more about just finding what works for your individual company.
Yeah, so something we've sort of flirted with the idea of running webinars on not the weekend, because I'm not sure anyone's going to tune in on the weekend, but we thought about doing sort of Friday lunchtimes as opposed to sort of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's when most clients tend to want to do them. So we have suggested that some clients try a Friday lunchtime webinar, but no one seems to ready to take the plunge. Maybe we'll have to do one first and then
see how it goes. Yeah.
See how it goes. Yeah. I'm just flicking through the chat to see if there's anything we've missed or not picked up on. Whilst I do that, just again, a reminder that the handouts are available to download at any stage. If you haven't voted in the poll and you're interested in understanding more about our email solutions, then please do vote there, and we'll get in touch with you as soon as possible. So Thomas came back and says, list is small because of the personal nature of an issue of addiction recovery. Having said that, yes, we need to grow this list. Okay, so yeah, they're looking to grow the list. So like you said, using some of the strategies that you've mentioned will be the most beneficial there.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've pretty much covered everything that's in the chat. So I think we'll wrap it up there. Let everyone get a coffee before their next meeting. TC, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and your knowledge with everyone today. Thank you to everyone in the audience for tuning in. Like I've said earlier, the link will be with you with the recording in the next 24 hours. So if you missed anything, you can watch it back or you can share it internally with your marketing teams as well. I appreciate you all joining us. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant rest of the day.